Hello, everyone. We're back again for another conversation today. Um, as mentioned, we will be learning a little bit about Team South today. And so I've invited a special guest to join us today. Part of what we do in this group is connect resources and provide you with opportunities to join different programs that maybe you haven't heard about. So I hope that today you can gain a little bit of understanding about what Team South is and also to get to know our special guests. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and introduce her. Her name is Brittany Ward, and she is the athletic director for the Police Athletic League. So hi, Brittany.
Hi, Miriam. Thank you so much for inviting me today.
How are you doing?
Doing well, washing my hands, wearing my mask.
Yeah, it's been interesting, right, lately?
A weird time for everyone, you know?
Well, I love your background.
Thanks. I'm gonna get like messed up here with my it's like flipped on my screen. Actually we had a young man come in and spray paint when we did our like rebranding of our building. Um, he actually got caught on the street spraying or tagging many years ago, and then we just happened upon him out doing like murals for work now, and invited him back in and made a connection with him there to redo our building. Pretty cool.
I love those stories where things can be changed into positive. So, Brittany, tell us, for those people that don't know you, tell us about what you do and who you are.
So I am the athletic director for the Police Athletic League. We serve OKCPS middle schools currently. And as you can imagine, with COVID, that's presented a number of challenges, right? Like the main premise of our program is to connect our young people with our police officers and to gain or to form really meaningful and impactful relationships. And we're leaning a lot on OKCPS and their administrators and the guidance that they're putting out in terms of safety protocols, and that's directly influencing how we're going to be doing our future programming. And so we've got a lot of things in the works, so that's pretty fun and interesting. And you have to be super creative, which I'm sure many of you are experiencing the same thing right now. But let's just say if it were a normal year, right? What we typically do is we run. I am in charge of coordinating the sports leagues, so I work with our 4 PAL officers to create and implement football, volleyball, basketball, cheer, and soccer programs for fifth for fifth and sixth graders in middle schools.
So I want to tell you, full disclosure, I was a coach in the past. I've done the volleyball, soccer. I've been more of a supporter with basketball. But for anybody who's listening and would like to get more information, do they have to be like good in sports to help volunteer?
Oh no, like honestly, sport is the vehicle, right? It is so much more about being a positive, consistent adult role model for young people. Like that's the main idea. And we've got tools and connections. We've got resources for any newcomers that are like, well, I don't really know the sport, but I really want to be around the kids. And if you come with that attitude and that mindset, you're already ahead of the game. So we'd encourage any person, even if you're a young person looking to be more involved in your community, we love the peer-to-peer mentoring and really want to foster that. So if you're looking for ways to be involved and get involved, please feel free to reach out to me. I'd be happy to share any information with you. We have a martial arts program. We typically do an after-school mentoring program, which obviously I'm not in charge of either of those programs, but they're under our PAL umbrella. Yeah, so please, if you're interested and want more information, please contact me. Would love to hear from you.
Great. Well, it's definitely a great way to get to know people. And I can say build relationships with our police officers. So I've gotten to know a lot of great people through that. So again, thank you for for connecting us and all the work that you do. A lot of kids right now are definitely missing that piece of, sports. So I can only imagine how difficult that may be right now.
And I think a main thing of what we do is to show, like, to humanize our police officers, right? I think,
Yeah.
particularly in the communities that we're serving, I think it's really important for us to be a positive presence and really be just really, like, we already take an interest in building those relationships, but it's a very pressing issue, now. So more than ever, we just really want our community to know that we care about them and we're here for them. And I mean, we exist to serve them. So I know that I totally speak on behalf of my colleagues when I say that.
Well, before we move on to our next topic, I do want to say that for many of you who, are in this group, a lot of these students look up to you and they're like, I remember the one time I volunteered with the soccer league, the kids were like, you speak Spanish? And they were just like super excited that, you could connect with them. So if you guys are ever interested, there's a lot of young students that would really appreciate just having you more than anything as a mentor. So anyways, reach out to Brittany. And so I'd love to talk about your introduction to with PAL, how did you get connected to Team South?
Just before we move past there, I just would also like to tag on to what you said. I think representation is huge. And so when having mentors that look like our young people, that are positive, happy, thriving adults, can really be impactful. So I'd really encourage you, like you said, Miriam, it's amazing when you have that moment of realization that, wow, I didn't know that just being me is so impactful to this other young woman or this young man, right? So I just thought that was really special. But we'll move on to Team South. So I kind of got voluntold by my boss, Peter Evans, to participate in the South Oklahoma City Chamber leadership program called Team South. And I think particularly cool for me because I'm very new to Oklahoma City. I only moved here about a year and a half ago. So being involved in the community is huge for me. I think it's really important. I like to be involved. I like to help connect people where I can. But since I was so new, I didn't have any connections, right? I didn't know that they had like business after hours. And so being a part of Team South was huge for me in terms of meeting other young professionals that are doing really cool things in our community too. So more or less, I got involved because my boss told me to, but he told me to because it's one of the coolest experiences you'll have.
So let's talk a little bit about the program itself so that people, whether you're a business owner or new to Oklahoma, and you bring up a good point for any of you just wanting to expand your network, I definitely think this would be a great opportunity for you to, all those South supporters, Southside Oklahoma City, a lot of us are really proactive in promoting South Oklahoma. Right. So there's even a lot of things that we don't know about our own South Oklahoma City. So tell us a little bit about how the program works.
So I think there's around 24 professionals that so you apply. And then once you've been selected into the program, like I said, I think there's around 24 people that you'll be going. I'm not trying to minimize it, but they're like adult field trips. So you commit to several months, one day out of the month, going on this adult field trip. So it's from 7:30 to 4 in the afternoon, ish, give or take on depending on where we were that day. And at the end, so that's the norm. That's sort of the structure, and then always right afterwards there's a networking event, a business after hours event through the chamber. And so you're most welcome and encouraged to go. Even if you're not a member, you're most welcome and encouraged to be a part of Team South, which then segues into the actual chamber event. And even like, again, the whole networking around that is huge and can be really instrumental in helping you in your business or just building your own personal brand. I mean, I've really enjoyed being a part of it.
Well, and I noticed that they have like different topics that they focus on um, every month. So when you said the time commitment, um, you said 7:30 to about 4 p.m.
Yeah, or like 8 to 4. That's a pretty general. I mean, that's a good. Yeah, I'd say that's a good general time. Like for one day, right? It's for one day nominated. So before you even apply, the days are already. So you can go ahead and look at your schedule and make sure that you can't miss any of the days. It's an accelerated program. Like, yes, it's over several months, but the learnings and the experiences that you're having over that time frame requires your commitment. And yes, it is a time commitment. I understand that. You know, I'm fortunate that I have a boss that really values that professional development and that networking aspect of what you get out of Team South. So I didn't really have an issue having that one day off during the month. So that is something to consider. But again, I would highly recommend you going to and advocating for that to your boss and saying how it could really help your business. Or, I mean, a lot of businesses and organizations value professional development, and so I think that that's kind of a way you can, advocate for being in Team South.
Yeah, and I think an important point you just said was the investment in yourself, and
Yes.
so you have to be able to value it. And I think even for a lot of you that are out there, I know you are small business owners, you invest in your business, but imagine just getting to know people that you can that will be champions for you. So, not only are you going to meet people, but also these are the people that are going to come to you immediately when you need something. And then the nonprofit world, the business side, there's so many pieces of it that you can really advocate, but it is an investment for yourself. So I think if you pitch it that way, it's more than likely that they'll encourage you and support you. But
Don't call it a no trips. Don't call it that. That's just that's what our Team South class called it, because we're the best. We're the best. And but that's what we called it. That was just our joke. So yeah.
I'm sure everybody feels like their class is the best, right?
Everyone says it, but only one team can really say that. Only one.
Right. So what was one of the classes that you would say, you enjoyed the most?
Okay, I actually made a little baby list of
Oh, yeah.
like the highlights. I had to make notes because we did so many wonderful, crazy things. So if I like look away, it's because I'm trying to make sure that I remember all the highlights of the experiences. So I think the one that you Southsiders will appreciate the most is we actually did a tour of the historic Capitol Hill district, and we had lunch at Grill on the Hill, a well-known local business. We also went to OKCLYP down there and learned about a lot of the adult classes, but also a lot of the other programs that are on offer there. That's what I mean. I think Team South is so great for highlighting things that you didn't even know were available to you as an individual and as a business. I mean, Metro Tech offers a whole variety of things that can help you in terms of like finances or building a business plan or strategic communications. Like, there's a number of things you can do that I didn't realize were affordable or available to organizations like mine or other businesses. So the next thing I wrote down was we visited the Oklahoma City Thunder and got to tour the facilities there, and we had a panel that discussed sales and how it works now that you lose a high profile player. So what does that look like now in terms of building like a fan membership and stuff like that. Then we also went to the First Americans Museum. It's still is it still called the First Americans Museum? I think
I think it is. They may have been going through a change, but I believe you're right.
Either Nation or Americans, and I'm sorry if I don't get that right. But that was really cool, and getting to see, like, because I'm new here, so I don't know the story, I didn't know the background story and how it's been trying to be built for several years. And then now when I come to work and I drive, sometimes when I drive that on that 35 that way, I can look at that building that's almost complete, and I know the background, I know the history, and I know the history of the man that's really spearheading that project, and his come up, and how he worked for the Smithsonian, and how he's got this real interesting connection to the museum before it became our museum. It's just really neat to get to be a part of all of that. We also went to Integris, and that was really interesting, being able to see how their emergency team responds to emergencies and catastrophes like tornadoes and things like that.
Kind of like now.
Yeah, well, yeah. So weird. Honestly, we did that hospital one just before, it was just before the pandemic stuff sort of really kind of peaked. So we were all kind of like, oh, I don't know, is it real? Is it not? That kind of thing, because it was just hitting the news. And funnily enough, we went to the Integris, and one of our classmates is like head of operations there. And so we were talking to him about like what the protocols and stuff like that. But anyways, at that time, it was not such a prevalent thing whereas now it is. But we got some like insights on like insurance and what it takes to actually like manage a facility like that, like the infrastructure of it, the budgeting of it. We also went to the Metro Tech Aviation, where we did a mock crash site investigation, and that was really, really cool. And then we went to OCCLYP. I didn't even realize the great things that OCCLYP offers, low socioeconomic young people here, and the opportunities that they want for them to have an education. They have a food pantry. They have like a community closet. So if you have things you want to donate, I think that they're always open for donations too. Plus, their amazing film. They have this amazing film program. Actually, the co-producer of The Godfather, Gray Fredrickson, we actually all got signed copies of that. That was pretty cool.
People don't know that.
Yeah, I wouldn't have known. I had no idea. It's like, wow, Oklahoma is so much cooler than, I'm from Texas, so, people are like, Oklahoma. I'm like, it's actually all right. I really like Oklahoma City. Probably one of the other really cool ones is we did the behind the scenes of the Will Rogers World Airport, and got to see some of the new renovations that they're doing there, and also FAA. And that was really interesting and super cool that that's in our backyard and in South Oklahoma City backyard. Looking at the lab and the technology that they have there, it's just really, really interesting. And that's just like some of the touch points. Those were the highlights for me. We certainly did a number of other great tours around Oklahoma City.
So I just kind of want to highlight. So some of these classes, again, for those of you who are interested, are once a month. So it's not like you have to go to this class all week long. And I just want to highlight some of the classes that I noticed for the next session. They have education, community service, hidden gems, health and wellness, aerospace, government, and then you have your graduation. So I think that it would be very well, it would be enough to where someone from any type of background or profession would gain something from it. And if you're someone like me, no matter where you go or what you do, you're going to find value in anything that you take in, with the smile, and go in there and just get to meet people. It's all about what you want to get out of it.
Certainly, what you put in, you get out, for sure. One of my classmates actually said that, and I couldn't agree with him more. You're spot on with that, Miriam, that if you go into it and you're kind of not willing to almost be slightly vulnerable, just to be, or I say that to be like open to be available to receive the learnings, to be available to put yourself out there. I think that that's critical and getting the most out of that experience.
Yeah, and we may have grown up in the South Side, but we haven't been able to go to every single place and business in Oklahoma City. So I definitely feel like you're kind of getting the behind the scenes VIP feel of all these cool things. And you've mentioned a few that even myself, when I learned a little bit more, I was just fascinated in that I didn't know it, in the past. And for many of you, it, there is the historical component, but as a business owner, I think you can also take away, connections and figuring out how this building came to be and that. But what would the cost be for those that, do want to go ahead and apply and take this on and invest in themselves? There is a cost involved, right?
Yes, I believe it's $475. You can, there is an opportunity for scholarship, or if you email, it used to be Liz Cromwell, but she's moved, changed jobs. But on their website, there will be a contact person there for you to reach out to. And the thing is that they want you to be involved. Like, they encourage that. That's why it exists. So just be honest. If you're honest about your situation, I'm sure they will find a way to make it happen for you.
Yeah, and there was a few people that asked about that, and so I want to make sure that people don't get discouraged, and there's a cost, but that just shows you that there's the value in the program.
And the cost covers like a multitude of things. So some of the places that we go to, we have to have like special clearances, and it covers the cost of food. So you will be fed and have water. It's a full day, 8 to 4. So there are costs associated with that. But I think for that price point, I mean, you're really getting an excellent deal. Really, it's not like they're like pulling the wool over your eyes. Like, you're really getting a truly one of a kind experience.
And I will say that the link is on the bottom. So if you're interested in checking out the application, it does show you on there where you can get those resources that Brittany just mentioned. It does say for scholarship or any kind of additional service. It is located on that link. So don't get discouraged if you feel like financially, we are in a tough situation. But for those of you who can ask your employers, take advantage of it.
And also, if you're worried about COVID as well, I know that they're implementing some safety protocols. So, I mean, please don't quote me on this, but from my understanding, last year we did like a group bus. Well, this year I think that people are going to be driving their own cars, just for that added element of safety, being in your own space, wearing masks, that sort of thing. So if you are a little wary or precautious because of that, just know that they do take your safety into consideration, and they are implementing safety protocols too.
That's a really good point. I know there's a lot of people worried about that, but again, it's once a month, and if you are fully, protected with your mask and all those social distancing guidelines, they'll make the most of this experience. But definitely a lot of exciting activities for you all. So what I want to kind of ask you, because I read this on, as part of the program, that they say that you gain a deeper understanding for the important issues affecting South Oklahoma City. So I want to ask you, Brittany, what was that, did you gain a deeper understanding of any specific issues within South Oklahoma City?
Well, I'm honestly, full disclosure, I am terrible with dates and names. So please, full disclosure.
Okay.
But one thing that I thought was really, really super cool, because I am fascinated by the history and how things have become how they are. Um, we actually watched a video, sort of memorializing, honoring um, how like the river came about, and how the chamber played such an important role in the creation of that river. And I'm talking like years ago, not like it happened like 5 years ago. I mean, like in the '60s, people were advocating for the Capitol Hill Historic District, and it was. I mean, as a new person here, I didn't know those things. How much of an economical role that Capitol Hill played in Oklahoma City's growth and development. I had no idea. And so I thought that was really interesting for me personally, and learning about the founding people that really put things into place to allow it to be such a thriving community.
And that's again, sometimes the history part, we don't know how much work it has taken. And I love history too. So I love meeting people that were a part of years back. So I can definitely understand that. I love, like the Yale Theater and all these other places that have so much history from back in the 20s. So if you also want to learn more, and this is definitely a great opportunity for you to learn a little bit more of South Oklahoma City. And we did have a question that someone asked if you have to pay up front or do you pay when you're accepted? Do you know that?
I don't know that.
Okay.
I think there might be an application fee, and then if you're accepted, you pay the full fee, perhaps.
From what I saw, it looks like that you, since the program starts in October, that you would know by then if you're accepted, and then it says that that's when it would be due. So, so no, you wouldn't have to pay unless you're in the program, and I'm sure you can work that out. So don't worry about the financial piece too much. Just I feel like if you're someone who really cares about community awareness and connecting, that you should definitely take this opportunity and apply. Um, Specifically, since it's coming up soon. So,
Yeah, I'm still connected with several of my classmates from Team South, and I just think the friendships that you make are invaluable, and the connections that I've been able to make professionally as well. It's just been a really, really great experience, and I really would encourage you to have the conversation. If you are mostly concerned about the financials, have the conversation. Don't like be open to having that conversation. And I know sometimes that takes a bit of like courage on your behalf, but I suggest it. I highly recommend it. You will not look back and go, man, I can't believe I did that. You'll look back and go, man, I can't believe I did that. That was so cool.
yeah, and again, the purpose of this program is, to empower you, to provide you those networks, to expose you to culture, business, resources. So, if you're looking for something to get connected, specifically in your neighborhood, this is definitely an opportunity. But I know that this was asked prior to this. And because it is something that is coordinated through the South Chamber, do you have to be a member of the chamber to participate?
No, you don't have to be a member. Um, in fact, I think it's highly encouraged if you're not a member to be a part of it, because, as I said, it really demonstrates the importance of the chamber and how the chamber advocates for small businesses and um, the South Oklahoma City community. And really, for me, I didn't really know what the importance of being a part of a chamber meant. I didn't know that it's what kind of significance it could have on me as a person or me as my organization. And since being involved in Team South, I'm actually now through PAL a member of South Oklahoma City Chamber of Commerce, and I'm also an ambassador for the chamber. It's because of Team South, because I realize the importance of the connections that you make and helping other businesses build other businesses, like really being a community and strengthening each other. I think that that's really important.
That's the best marketing you can get. Connecting with people, I
Exactly.
would say it. Networking is like the best marketing tool you can get. So, you know, people are going to look to you when they need you. If you're present, if you're, involved, if you're, out there supporting them. So kind of has a double bonus there to not only for yourself, but for what you're looking to gain for your business or for your organization or just you personally. So again, I just want to go back to this part. What was your biggest takeaway from the program that you would recommend, for someone who's listening? What was your biggest takeaway?
For me, it would be the relationships made and the connections made at all the places that we went. I just gained such a deeper understanding of why they exist, who they serve, how they serve, and yeah, the relationships made, I think, is one of my favorite parts. And being able to, Billy Walton was in my class, and he actually works for the energy, and so Pal already kind of has a relationship with the energy, but it was great for me to be able to connect with Billy in that way. So now we're like friends, but we also are colleagues. So I just think like the networking aspect, um, the learnings of your community, and the different things on offer for you as a person and as a business. It's just I just didn't know those things. I really learned so much. I I just didn't know, and so now here I am telling you. You think you know, but you have no idea. So just I'd encourage you really to just put yourself out there, be open to the experience. What you put in is what you get out, and I just can't speak of it highly enough of what it can do for you and your empowerment, and just helping you to find ways to be involved in your greater community. I think it's so important.
It sounds like a lot of fun too.
It's
So
so much fun. I miss it. I'm so sad COVID cut a lot of our graduation was delayed for several months because of COVID, and then eventually we were able to do it out at the Wheeler District, which was one of the other things that we got to experience on our trip or on our in our program. And we did it outside, and we all got our plaque and got to experience one last meeting, socially distanced together. And yeah, I just really enjoyed the whole experience. If you can't tell by my big stupid smile, I really enjoyed it.
yeah, no, and that's the energy I'm getting from, just talking to you about the program. I actually have not been in the program. So, yeah. But, it's because I just learned about it. So, this last year, in my current role, I actually just learned. And so I felt like, why do I not know about this program? So,
Seriously, I'm talking like people in my class were worked at banks. They one of them is runs like a crematorium. Another one is a like cybersecurity. Another one is a groundskeeper at OCCLYP. Like all walks of life. So I just can't implore or express enough the networking capabilities and the types of people you're going to be around. It challenges you, but also allows for so much growth. I just think that it's really, really a cool program. And Miriam, I'm surprised.
well, I will say that it is on my list. So, I'm really involved already.
I know,
So
you're right. You're plugged in.
I definitely just wanted to make sure that, because I learned about it and I, even without being in it myself, I feel like there's so much value to it just by what I've seen so far and what I've learned. And so I wanted to make sure that people knew about it, and especially all the young professionals out there right now that are looking for ways to get plugged in. And I know that the additional piece that people should really, be excited about is that it's specifically targeting South Oklahoma City. And so once you go through the program, I feel like you will be more of an advocate, if not already, of our city and in general South Oklahoma City. But I feel like it also kind of gives you a little bit more insight to be that advocate for the good things, the positive things going on in Southside. So again, I just wanted to make sure that we did talk about it because I myself had not known. So I wanted to learn a little bit more about it. And so that's why I appreciate that you were able to join us to give the insight of behind the scenes, the real experience about the program. But I kind of want to go into a different side now and ask you, besides Team South and PAL and all this going on in your life, how are you keeping up with your self-care and through COVID? What are you doing to stay healthy and to maintain your mental health?
I think you spot on. Mental health, I think, is critical for a lot of people during this time. I think it's as simple, also for me, I think it's as simple as you reaching out to someone else as well to check on them. I'm a 2 Enneagram, so I have a very servant heart, and that makes me feel good. Knowing that my friends are okay makes me feel really good inside. So I actually kind of have a weekly checklist of people that I will maybe not have like a long phone conversation with, maybe not even a phone conversation with, maybe just a text. And just say, hey, thinking about you. How's everything going? Or can we meet up for lunch? Can we meet up for coffee? I think that has been really important for me. Also, routines. I am very bubbly and energetic, and I almost always, if you would have asked me a few months ago, I would have said, I hate routines. Routines aren't for me. It's too structured. I'm a little bit more relaxed than that. But routines have really, really been instrumental in keeping me sane. Waking up at the same time, like definitely putting a stronger emphasis on having like good sleep hygiene. So like going to bed at an appropriate hour so I can wake up early and work out. And I have to do those things to make sure that I'm a happy human being so I can be effective at my job.
I couldn't agree more. I think it's been really hard for everyone just to go from social to non-social. I've had a really hard time with that. But I think, like you said, that's a really good idea, checking in on your friends, checking in on what everyone else is doing. Get outside, go enjoy sports. And I did have a question here that is for the PAL League. If they can't fully commit to the full session, are they able to volunteer just like on a one-on-one basis, or how does that work?
So there are a number of ways to be involved with PAL, and I'm just gonna, sorry, one second, my laptop went sad, so I'm just gonna plug it in.
Oh, sure. This is what happens with technology.
Sorry. So if you're looking for a one-on-one interaction, I would probably push you towards our after-school mentoring program, which is not happening right now because our kids aren't at school. But I will say that it isn't that much of a commitment. I mean, I don't think so. It's like 3 hours a week, and you do it for 8 weeks. That's how long our seasons last. And even if you were paired with a friend, right, or a colleague, or even another person that has maybe the same situation as you that I can't be there every weekend, but maybe two of you've got all the weekends covered. It doesn't really matter. That's okay. It's more that there is a positive role model there for the young people. And if you can be as consistent as you can possibly be we'd welcome that, any help that we could get.
So you can be the assistant to the assistant coach.
Yeah, I wouldn't say no.
Yeah, I love seeing the videos and things that you guys post about like the volleyball leagues going on and the soccer ones. I just love seeing, you know, I love young people. I love seeing, them being active, and I know what those relationships can do. So really excited to see that. But again, I want to go back to the Team South. So just to remind everyone, Team South deadlines are coming up. So if you do want to apply for the program, the deadline is August 28th. And if somebody had more questions about the actual program, would you be open to getting more questions directly?
Sure, that's okay.
All right, guys. So reach out to Brittany. And again, I want to show you the link for the applications. And again, make sure that you submit them by August 28th. And another question, do they have to have like letters of recommendation or anything like that?
I know you have to submit like a headshot, and honestly, I can't remember. I can't recall if you need letters of recommendation. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think you just provide references.
Okay, so if they needed it, it's there. Great. Well, that makes it a lot easier, guys. Because you can, I think from what I saw on my side was that you just submit your involvement, your current activities, those kind of things. And then, there's a couple different questions, but that makes it easier, guys. So usually it does take some time to get letters of recommendations. So that checks off one thing. So there's no excuses there.
No excuses. If I had to give you like really quick rapid fire answers or reasons why, I just think one, it's super fun. Two, you don't have to be a member. Three, it's super fun, and you learn all these special hidden gems that are in your backyard that maybe you knew, but you didn't know to this extent that you're going to experience it. And also, the last thing would be the incredible relationships and the networking possibilities that spur out of this. I just don't know that you really can put a price point on that. It really is so valuable.
I definitely think that you hit it spot on there. So again, for those of you who are interested, please apply. If you have more questions, we're happy to help connect you. We do have friends that can answer the questions. We have friends at the chamber that'd be more than happy to also go into further details if we didn't cover something that you were asking about or had questions about. So again, thank you so much, Brittany, for joining us. And we can't wait to see you soon in person. After
I know.
Maybe we'll have to have a day of the Oklahoma City Young Latino Professionals come out and do a volunteer event and see how we can connect. So
that would be great. I'd love that.
Let's make it happen. So again, everyone, thank you for joining us today, and we hope to see you signing up for this great program.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me. Really appreciated this opportunity, Miriam. You're the best.
Absolutely. And thank you for taking the time and for all the work that you do. And say hello to Peter.
I will, for sure.
All right. Thank you, guys.